Hi guys! What's up and welcome to today's video. And this one is going to be another clay time challenge. And in these videos I try to make something in clay many times but using different time limits. I've made a unicorn, 14 cookie, panda, cupcake and a pizza before, but this time I'm going to create a watermelon. So here is how it looks like without using any time limit, but now let's find out how it will look like if I make it in 10 minutes and then all the way down to just 10 seconds. And by the way, if you like these types of videos, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because if you guys want me to, I could make more videos like this one in the future. But anyways, let's get started with the first one, which is 10 minutes. So for this one I started out by taking some white clay and shaping it into a thin rectangle. And I then took some light green clay and I did the same thing, but as you can see I made this one a little bit thicker. And I then gave the green part a curved shape, and I also did the same thing with the white part. And after putting the two pieces together, I started to make the lighter details for the face. And the reason to why I'm doing this now is because I don't have time to wash my hands in between switching colors, so by doing it in this order I can avoid making the details dirty from the darker color that I'm going to be using later. And the details I did was the light pink cheeks and also some white for the shimmer in the eyes. And now it is time to make the dark pink part of the watermelon, and I did this by simply shaping it into a triangle using my fingers. And because I had more than half of the time left, I spent some extra time on this step to make sure that I got a really nice shape. So I then put the dark pink clay onto the other pieces that we made earlier, and I then took a long knife and I cut out the shape of the watermelon. And I also wanted the edges to be a bit softer, so here I am smoothing them out using my fingers. And now it is time for the face. Here I am preparing it using a dotting tool to make two indents for where the eyes are going to be. And I then used the black clay to make the eyes. And the next step was to make the mouth, so here I am rolling out some black clay for that. And once the face was done, I took the lighter details and I added them to the face. And with about 2 minutes left, I started to make some seeds for the melon. And then, for the first time ever in this challenge, I had some time left over in the end, and I had an idea to make some darker stripes as details on the outside of the melon, but then I realized that the shade of it ended up looking kind of ugly, so instead I used the last few seconds to make the shape of the watermelon better instead. And now, finally, here is how the 10-minute watermelon turned out. I actually think that this one looks good, and it looks pretty much like the original one. But now let's see what happens if we split the time in half and set the timer to 5 minutes. And for this one I started out exactly the same way as the last time, and I made the white rectangle and then one thicker in light green. And after putting them together, I started to make the cheeks and the white shimmer to save for later. And then I started to make the dark pink triangle part. And here I'm using my knife again to give it the right shape. And after smoothing out the edges a bit, I took some black clay to create the eyes and then the seeds. And I then put on the eyes and started to make the mouth. And after that I used the last minute to put on all of the details. And here is how the 5-minute watermelon turned out. I'm actually a bit surprised about how well this one turned out. I think it looks almost as good as the 10-minute one, which is pretty cool. But now let's make things a little bit more difficult by setting the timer to just 2 minutes. And for this one, I really wanted to make all of the parts that I made for the other two. So here I am making the white and the green parts in just a few seconds. And after spending about 20 seconds on that, I started to make the triangular part. And then I put it on as quickly as I could. And after that, I started to cut off the edges to give it a better shape. And with a little more than half the time left, I made the eyes, and I then rolled out the clay for the mouth and put them on. And with half a minute left, I made the 3 little seeds for the top. And then I used the very last seconds to make the cheeks for the watermelon. And after that, the 2 minutes were over, and here is how the watermelon turned out. Obviously it's not as perfect as the other ones, but I still think that this one looks pretty cute. But now, let's find out how much I can make in just 1 minute. And as you probably know by now, I started out with the white, the green, and then the dark pink part. And it looked pretty bad, so here I am trying to cut up some pieces to make it look better. And then I used the last 15 seconds to make the little face. And here is how the 1 minute watermelon turned out. I do think it looks pretty cute, but overall it is really not as good as the other ones. But now it is time for one of the last times of this video, which is just 30 seconds. So for this one, I made the white and the green part. I gave it a bit of a curve, and then I added the dark pink part. And I then used the last seconds to make it look a little bit better, but I didn't really do a great job with that. So here is how my 30-second one turned out. And now, as if half a minute wasn't enough, let's see what I can create in just 10 seconds. And for this one, I skipped most of the parts, and I tried to make it work with just 2 colors. And here is the result. But now that I've tried out all of these different times, it is time for my favorite part, which is to compare the results. So here is how all of my little watermelons ended up looking like. But anyways, that was everything for this little experiment. I really hope that you guys liked this video, and if you want to try out this challenge too, you can always use the hashtag ClayTimeChallenge if you want to share your work, for example on Instagram. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!